Now, Godzilla's other features should also be examined to collect more information that could help us understand the mystery of Godzilla's anatomy and how his body functions. To start off with, his dorsal plates. It is believed that in the Stegosaurus species, their plates were used for ornamentation and to expel heat. However, it may be that the leaf-like shape gives another clue to their intended use in Godzilla: photosynthesis. Photosynthesis uses radiation from the sun to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose, which the body converts into energy. Godzilla is massive, around 400 feet tall in his latest incarnation, so he would need a lot of energy. Also, we already know he feeds on radiation, as we see him literally breathing in radioactivity from a nuclear power plant in the film Godzilla 1984. So if he is feeding on radiation from a power plant, nothing prevents him from feeding on radiation from the sun. It has been shown in Godzilla movies many times that Godzilla's dorsal plates can be used to absorb energy, such as when we see Godzilla's dorsal plates absorbing lightning in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2002, or when he absorbs Ghidorah's lightning attacks in Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack 2001. Godzilla using photosynthesis through his dorsal plates would not be the first time a vertebrate animal has taken advantage of photosynthesis. Euphila algae grows on the eggs of spotted salamander embryos, absorbing the carbon dioxide emitted by the embryo and providing it with oxygen, and possibly even glucose. The oriental hornet is an even more striking example, being able to convert sunlight into electricity to provide itself with energy. Thus they are more active in the middle of the day when solar output is at its maximum, so they can absorb more power from the sun to fuel their nest-building activities. So, this may just answer the question of how Godzilla can exist, considering how much fuel is needed to sustain such a body, and considering how much surface area his dorsal plates have. If it is truly a form of photosynthesis, then the output of glucose would be in abundance, and perhaps enough to power a 400-foot-tall Goliath like Godzilla. To further understand a real-life Godzilla, it must be ascertained how tall Godzilla could be in real life. Godzilla in his debut movie was 50 meters tall, roughly 164 feet. According to a calculation from Dr. Carpenter, based on a form of calculation used for other dinosaurs, Godzilla would realistically weigh about 9,800 tons. Realistically, the blue whale is weight-wise the largest animal to have ever existed, with a general mass of 150 tons. The largest recorded reached about 200 tons, and a length of 98 feet. But on land, the Argentinosaurus, a sauropod, that is, long-necked, dinosaur, is estimated to be the largest terrestrial organism to have ever existed, having weighed about 99 to 110 tons and measured 121 to 131 feet long. But this is not big enough to give evidence for a creature as big as Godzilla existing in real life. If it were not for other factors, such as the amount of food needed to support such a size, it has been calculated that the largest land animals could reach anywhere from 112 to 1,120 tons, about 1/9 of Godzilla's mass according to Dr. Carpenter. But Godzilla has one more disadvantage against him. He is bipedal, not quadrupedal, meaning he walks on two legs, also meaning he is able to support even less weight than a four-legged Argentinosaurus. According to a BBC Science Focus article, Godzilla's maximum weight would probably be about 22 tons. Taking the average mass of a T-Rex, about 8.5 US tons, as our template, and multiplying that by roughly 2.5, you get 22 tons, which fits within our range of mass allowed. If we multiply a T-Rex's size, 21 feet when standing upright, by the same factor, roughly 2.5, then we get a height of about 54 feet. Now that a real Godzilla's maximum height has been ascertained, it must be ascertained how Godzilla could be able to breathe fire. The bombardier beetle is an extraordinary beetle that produces a hot vapor mixture that can reach 212 degrees Fahrenheit and shoot it at its enemies. Dr. Carpenter, who was discussed earlier in the essay, theorized that Godzilla can have a similar organ to the bombardier beetle, which could ignite a controlled stream of methane, the stuff we burp out, essentially making it a weaponized burp. Technically, Godzilla in the movies does not breathe fire. He breathes a stream of pure radiation known as a heat beam, but this hypothetical ability to breathe fire is probably as close to a real-life version of Godzilla breathing a heat beam as the realistic limits of nature would allow. In most Godzilla movies, Godzilla is brought about because of the effects of an atomic bomb, producing an extreme case of gigantism in Godzilla, an enlargement of the dorsal plates, and of course, Godzilla's iconic ability to breathe fire. In reality, as has been learned from examining the effects of Chernobyl, some of the known effects of radiation on a developing creature are a decreased size, extra appendages, a deformation of the face, discoloration, and usually such a disruption in function that the creature dies within hours of birth. And only two of these side effects, discoloration and a deformation of the face when compared to the Godzillasaurus shown in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, happen to Godzilla in the movies. Human interference in the natural development of Godzilla is so crucial that to remove it from Godzilla's origins seems almost to take away from the essential core element of what this character is. But there is another possibility of human interference which does not involve radiation: genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is defined by the National Human Genome Research Institute as a process that uses laboratory-based technologies to alter the DNA makeup of an organism. This may involve changing a single base pair, AT or CG, deleting a region of DNA, or adding a new segment of DNA. For example, genetic engineering may involve adding a gene from one species to an organism from a different species to produce a desired trait. If Godzilla were genetically engineered to have traits of different species, then that could explain his ability to photosynthesize like a plant, and his bombardier beetle-like fire-breathing capabilities. Humanity has, since the dawn of time, sought out new ways to make warfare, from Greek fire to the atom bomb. Whatever new innovation humanity produces will most likely contribute to warfare at some point or another, and genetic engineering is probably one of the most powerful abilities on the planet. It is able to make animals glow using jellyfish DNA, speed up growth development by 2 times the normal rate, and many other documented achievements. Using animals in warfare currently isn't a new innovation. Horses are famous war animals. Dogs are trained to sniff out drugs, bombs, and other dangerous substances regularly in the police force. Carthaginian General Hannibal was famous for using elephants against the Romans, and the Soviet Union used disease-carrying rats against the Germans in World War II. So if Godzilla were to come about as a result of genetic engineering, it would probably be as a weapon of war. Using all the facts gleaned in this essay, here is a reconstruction of Godzilla's story in real life. After most of the dinosaurs went extinct, there is still a branch of dinosaurs that managed to escape whatever killed the rest of the dinosaurs, the Godzillasaurus. This particular species was more aquatic in nature, developing an enlarged tail in comparison to its more land-loving relatives to aid it in aquatic propulsion, similar to the Spinosaurus. This species continued to thrive, and several subspecies would develop in different parts of the world. One particularly strong Godzillasaurus, named Tiamat by the Mesopotamians, would find itself in ancient Mesopotamia, where it would terrorize Mesopotamia's inhabitants, until one particularly strong warrior arose to challenge the beast, Marduk, who would kill Tiamat. From this incident would spring the myth of the sea goddess Tiamat, and the supposed Lord of the Gods, Marduk. This legend would be passed down as various civilizations began to branch out from Mesopotamia, each retaining their own version of this story, such as Heracles and the Hydra in Greece, Susanoo and Yamato no Orochi in Japan, Thor and Jomungand in the Germanic tribes, Ra and Apopus in Egypt, etc. The Godzillasaurus species would continue to be hunted down due to the apparent threat they posed to human settlements, leaving various dragon myths in their wake, until only a select few individuals remained on an island, somewhere in the Japanese archipelago. These individuals would be discovered in 1954 by America-occupied Japan and kept secret to the rest of the world. During the following half-century, their offspring would be experimented on in hopes of mass-producing a new species as a weapon of war. Unfortunately, most of the subjects died, and only one subject survived. This subject was given bombardier beetle DNA and oriental wasp DNA, which it uses to convert sunlight radiation into energy to help sustain itself so it doesn't need to constantly eat in order to keep up with its massive body. The scientists were also able to induce gigantism within the creature by causing it to produce growth hormone at roughly 2.5 times the original speed, causing it to grow to a height of about 54 feet when standing upright. In addition to this modification, they were able to splice Godzilla's DNA with mammalian DNA to cause the skin of Godzilla to produce an overabundance of the protein keratin, found in mammalian skin and horns, making Godzilla's skin tough and resistant, but also partially limiting movement. This creature would be unleashed upon the world in whatever ensuing worldwide war would break out, most likely used to target a small and isolated but vital military base, where it would cause immense damage but would be killed in that same encounter, winning a small victory in a great war. However, this would not be the end. It would just be a test trial. The success of the Godzilla project would likely prompt a greater investment into genetically engineered war animals, perhaps leading to the creation of other Godzilla kaiju, like Rodan and Gearus, and others. And perhaps, if the scientists are lucky, vital Godzilla DNA could be used to clone a second Godzilla. Many have wondered what Godzilla would look like if it were a real creature, and just what kind of creature it would be, and this essay has answered that question. According to the evidence, Godzilla is most definitely a dinosaur, and though he would not be exposed to radiation like in the movies, humanity would still have to play a part, using genetic engineering to give him his iconic fire-breathing ability and radiation-absorbing capabilities, in this case, sunlight radiation. Though Godzilla would not be nearly as imposing as he is in the movies, he would still be a marvel to behold.